Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wildness and Wellbeing. I'm Tim Jones, and today I'm here with my friend Devon Ball, who's here on yoga teacher training with me. Hey Devon, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm beautiful, thank you. I'm relieved that we've actually just finished yoga teacher training for good.
Oh yeah, me too. It's so surreal that we're actually finally done.
So, how long have you been practicing yoga for?
I've been practicing for quite a while. I've been really, really lucky to grow up with a mother that has been practicing yoga almost for as long as I can remember, but she's been really strongly practicing since we moved from Canada to the US. So I now live in the Bay Area. I'm still living with my parents while I'm in between going to university and everything. And it's been so amazing to learn from her because she practices twice a day, once or twice a day for 3 hours, and super inspiring. So I've been kind of doing it on and off since I was probably about 11 or 12, but I've been really dedicated for about 3 or 4 years now, trying to do it as much as possible. And I have just my mom to thank. She's such a badass.
Awesome. And what made you do it in Thailand?
In Thailand, it's so crazy because I've been wanting to come to this country ever since I was little. I've been obsessed with the whole entire culture, and I've heard so many amazing things about it, and I've had some friends in the past couple years that have come to visit, and they all come back and say that it's just meant for me. They're like, you would absolutely love it there, and they were totally right. I've been here for about 2 months, and oh my gosh, I could live here forever, most definitely. So it feels a little weird to be leaving so soon. How have you liked Thailand so far?
It's been good, but I haven't really got to explore enough yet. I think I'm excited now that yoga teacher training's stopped and I can just go out into the big bad world and just go explore. But what's been your hotspot in Thailand, would you say?
Oh, that's a good question. I wish I could have explored more. I spent my first month working on a farm in Khao Sok, so this was south, in the national park area, which was really fun and interesting, but I didn't it's kind of like this. We didn't really get to explore much, but I did spend 1 week south in the islands, so I was in Koh Phangan, which was so much fun. I'm not a big partier, but I was there during the big full moon party they have every month, and so it was really interesting to kind of experience that environment, but also was super lucky to be able to kind of meet more locals too, and experience kind of the quieter side of the islands, and experience the beauty and the beauty of the people as well. So that was definitely my favorite part, being in the islands. It's so tropical, and oh my gosh, all of the seashells on the beach, like you look at some of the beaches and you think it's sand, and then you get closer and you realize that they're all just little mini seashells, and that is the most surreal thing I've ever experienced. It's so pretty there.
I can't wait to hit the beaches. I will probably next when I come back, I think. So I'll go into Vietnam for a bit, and then I'll hop back in and What do you think's been the most challenging part of yoga teacher training?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd have to say, I have to think about it, because it's definitely been up and down. I think it's really interesting how holistic the teachings have been. I think it's been amazing in that way, but also can be quite overwhelming learning about 5 different subjects of Hindu philosophy and also anatomy, mixed with pranayama techniques and meditating, and all of it just can seem like a lot, but at the same time, I think it's integrated in a way that really does help the mind kind of be able to process. In the morning, our hour-long pranayama breathing exercise class is so calming and kind of refreshing, and then we're able to end our day with an hour of meditation. I think that's been super helpful because I do struggle a lot with meditation, and I love it, and I feel like being here has helped so much because when we spend the middle of our day like just using our brain constantly and like thinking about these complex ideas that are so cool, but it can feel like a lot, right? And so it's nice because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I can really actually relax and like meditate because I genuinely can't think about anything like more, you know? And I guess that doesn't really answer your question, but I will say like it has been hard for sure, just kind of the 10 hours a day almost. Like it's been super intense. But again, there's so many things that have been so great. Like we were so lucky to have this small group because we're able to communicate these feelings of like, this is really difficult and I don't know if I can do this much longer. And then other days where we feel super strong and capable. And yeah, I think it's definitely just been an entire mix for sure. How about for you? Have you felt any areas that's really, really difficult or?
All of it, really.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think I didn't, when I signed up for yoga teacher training, I thought about yoga teacher training, but I didn't think about getting up 5:30 in the morning to do chanting. I didn't think I was going to be meditating for 2 hours a day. I think the yoga has been very humbling for me. I'm not the most flexible of people, and I think that was kind of a hard pill to swallow, is when you go from a yoga studio in the UK where you seem quite competent into a group of people that are really flexible and quite knowledgeable of yoga and stuff like that. And I think that was a struggle at first, but I got used to it in the end. I think definitely the meditation has changed me more. I've always struggled with meditation, like whether that's, like just doing 10 minutes a day and stuff like that. And I think I'm going to dedicate a lot more time every day to meditation. I think that's definitely something that's really, for me, I really enjoy. And meditation and breath work is definitely the way I've gone. Like I've taken more of a keen interest. Anatomy's been hard for me as well. Mm-hmm. Respiratory stuff I'm fine with. It's muscles and stuff like that, which I have started to learn. But I think it's like going back to school. But I think overall I've realised how resilient I can be. I think that's probably something that all of us have learned, is resilience, because it is tough and it is intense. And we have been told that apparently, I think our course is a lot more crammed into the day than others. Mm-hmm. But overall, I've enjoyed it. I've not regretted a moment of it. And I think I've learned more about myself than I ever thought I would from this. And our teachers are they were amazing. They really were. But yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's amazing how you go into something and you do have like an expectation. You try not to hold expectations, but no matter what, I think we always sometimes carry them a little. And when we got here, it was intense at first, but I honestly, I did find some struggles for sure, but I could not be more grateful for every single teaching that they shared with us, and idea and concept. And I had been going to therapy for the past few months, and it's been really good for me. But if I'm going to be so honest, like this past 3 weeks, I feel like I've gotten the most insane spiritual, I can't even put it into words. It's just so immense how awakened and conscious I feel, like compared to before. And like the therapy helped in some ways, but what I loved about this entire journey here is that we're understanding how to kind of better understand ourselves through ourselves, and they give us these ideas, and they've taught us so much, but a lot of it has been internal. It's just kind of making notes of these things that we can focus on, like within ourselves, and just becoming aware of certain things, like all of the 8 limbs of yoga that we've learned in Ashtanga yoga. It's so crazy because a lot of it's really not even like yoga, like the traditional type of yoga people think of. They don't think it's not really about the postures. It's about this internal journey in order to be able to do these postures. And it's so crazy because you sit there and you're like, you don't even think about some of these things, but once you understand this idea or concept, you become more aware of every action you're taking in your life, and understanding, oh, why am I feeling this way? Like, what's causing that? And then like noticing these external forces that are causing these feelings to emerge. And also a huge aspect of it is just understanding, well, what am I worrying about? Like, what's causing me to be anxious? Is it about something in the future? Because if that's the case, why does it even matter? It hasn't happened yet. Like, or if it's feeling of guilt or regret, that's something that happened in the past. And if you're dwelling on that, that absolutely serves no purpose for you. So it's really truly about living presently and understanding that once you're able to kind of do that more, and every day just focus a little bit more on living presently, these emotions and feelings and stress, like the stressful factors, they completely subside. And it's so wild how like we've been able to experience that a bit more. And also, like you said, like there's times where this has been really difficult, and for all of us, like we like all show up to our class in the afternoon and we're just like, I can't do another hour and a half of yoga. Like, we've already been doing 4 hours of like yoga, and it's hard, but it's also understanding too, and just remembering, why did we come here? Like, we came here for this experience, and also looking back at everything now, it's like that struggle is part of this journey. And it's so crazy how much we've all grown. And like, just looking back at everyone here since we started, it's only been 3 weeks, but I can already see so much change in everyone, and like everyone's energy too.
I think, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think back home, when I look at the way I was practicing yoga, it was almost like, I know they talk a lot, well, we talk a lot of the time about you live outside in when you should be living inside out. And I think that was what I was doing, especially with yoga as well. Like, you've got all these stresses in life, and then you go to yoga and it kind of subsides, but then you're still having these issues going on. And I think it's all internal, like all this work, and it's already almost there. You've just got to kind of unlock that. And I think for me the biggest thing was fear. And I think coming out here, I'd never got on a plane by myself, and I was scared of flying, going to a completely different country. And I think once I got here, I'd already achieved a lot with that fear, but I still found my anxiety and fear was still there. And I think that subsided, especially with meditation and breath work and learning how you can, control your breath, your mind, your body, all in sync, and everything outside kind of subsides, and yeah, it has been beautiful. It's been crazy, and I totally agree with you when you say, like, I've done months and months of therapy, but I definitely got more out of these 3 weeks than all these months of therapy together.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite part?
Oh, all of it. I don't know. It's so, I've never experienced, like I said, I've never experienced this level of like consciousness, I feel like. And I know that sounds extreme, but I genuinely, I just feel so grateful to have experienced this and understand more about really the philosophy, because it's something I've always wanted to learn. I think that definitely has been my favorite part, learning about all the philosophy. And it's not just Hindu, but it's like yogic philosophy, understanding that this isn't a religion. This is a spiritual practice, and it's for everyone. It's not just for a certain group of people. It's for people that are willing to open up their minds to just better understand who they are. And I think that's so important, because like when you can't learn to understand yourself, when you can't learn to love yourself, appreciate yourself, and just in general be aware of this consciousness that we have, then we'll never be happy. We'll always be focusing on these struggles that we have in these difficult moments and times. And it's like this mantra we learned, Sat Chit Ananda, which is this, it basically means this consciousness, this existence that we're experiencing is entirely blissful and beautiful, and it's an experience, it's a journey, and there's ups and downs, and you can't experience contentment and happiness without having these ups and downs, and especially the downs. And that kind of involves the whole divine intervention as well. Like I think we've all kind of come here after having experienced a really, really deep low, and that can be super difficult, but without having those experiences, we can't really learn to appreciate that this life we're living is so complex and unique, and it's still something that none of us actually can understand or prove, like none of us can really explain why we're here or why we exist here, but just allowing yourself that gratitude to appreciate that we exist, and like this is part of the journey. Like all of this really matters, and every single turn and twist in life, like it's all a part of this path that we're meant to be on, and it's so wild to just think about. I don't know.
It's beautiful. So what's next for you after this?
Ooh, I think I'm headed home for one day. I'm going to San Francisco, and then the next day I'm flying out to Costa Rica. Nice. And I'm gonna teach as a yoga instructor at a surf camp there. It's like a surf hostel. It's supposed to be really fun, so I'm super stoked, but I definitely it's like quite a party hostel, it sounds like, and I've been spending the past month, we haven't had any alcohol, anything, and that's been great, and I want to keep that up. That's why I'm kind of like, oh boy, it'll be interesting with all these kids my age, like partying, but I think that'll also be the best kind of experience to improve my teaching, because it'll be around people my age that are kind of similar experience level, maybe less, and it'll be super eye-opening. I think it'll be a really awesome experience for sure.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to me, Devon.
No problem, Tim. Thank you for having me.